Alright, so let's go to the bank. We can store all of that. Is there anything new in there? Second Salon, there's no way for me to relieve terror here. No. That does not relieve terror. Oh, actually terror was relieved by reaching London. That's fine. Enough tea to fuel the sun. Is the sun tea fueled? What? The Clockwork Sun does not, of course, run on tea, but the battalion of engineers who maintain it surely must. Every month, a new tender for 3 caddies of dried tea is offered. Regular as, yes, Clockwork. Clockwork Sun lies to the north-northwest of London. North-northwest. That's the second mention we found of that location, so I guess that's the right one. Purchased at the Avid Horizon. Not too sure what that is. Do we have 3T? We have exactly 3T. Okay then. That's not the place. That is the place. Oops. Okay, and we can just go 6 and 6. Exploration is getting quite expensive. Is it more expensive with our locomotive? Because we are running at a deficit right now. That ain't good. Repair locomotive. That guy. Deliver our port reports. Great, we have 1. And that helps a bit with our finances. Okay, so we are going to the sun. Do we have 5 literature? We do not. We could bring 1 along, but not too much of a point here. And we're gonna have to look for it, so I'm glad we have a lot of fuel. North-northwest. In that general region, I guess. Well, on that one. Anyway, we are going there. I guess we go a slightly different way just to uncover more of the map. There we go. Ministry of Public Decency. Looking down, you can see all the strata of London bended below you. Yeah, that's such a mess. The Ministries. Yeah, that's a place. A number of instruments of government are located here. The Horological Office, which regulates time across the Empire, with Metal Grill. The Office of Works, which ensures the jobs no one else can be bothered with or done. And the Ministry of Public Decency, which curates the notion of Britishness, with the same care a lepidopterist uses to pin a butterfly to a board. That's not the one we were in, right? We were in the Ministry of Information. The Ministry of Public Decency, the Office of Works, or the Horological Office. There's no shops here. Okay. Let's go to the Office of Works, because we've not found ours. The Office of Works is a bustling bureaucratic enigma. Behind its red-bricked flanks toil numberless clerks and surveyors. What mysteries lurk within its memoranda, its chits and its receipts? What exactly are its eponymous works? No one's sure, but in a draughty loading bay, an unflappable foreman purchases supplies to complete outstanding work orders. Let's offer our services, we need money after all. He sniffs and leaves to a dog-eared ledger. The Office of Works, God bless her, has very particular requirements. Very particular. Let's have a look. He needs 2 rolls of thirsty bombazine and 2 uncanny specimens. We have that, right? Ministries to Bombazine. Just 2 specimens. We have the specimens, we have the Bombazine, just not on us. It's in London, which is not far away. Sure. Ask if there are other opportunities available. If you dislike the current work order, this may get you a different one. No, we do not dislike it. Cheerio, what? The foreman turns his attention to a pallet of crates destined for St. Dominic's station. Hurry it up. These have got to make the 12:15. Okay. Let's go to the Royal Horological Office. Tick, tick, tick. Albion's heartbeat. Clocks of diverse size and shape line the walls of this small grey office. Each is meticulously tuned by the royal horologists and inspectors as practice for the thankless, complex task of ensuring the consistency of time across Her Renewed Majesty's territories. Speak to the chief horologist. Look at the clock. Examine the array of clocks. Let's first look at things. From this side, it is a polished wonder of valves, pendulums, and cogs working in perfect harmony. Only the finest engineers were permitted to work on it. Every component is encased in polished glass. The hands, sharp enough to slice paper, slide between the exquisitely carved numerals with buttered smoothness. Only the second hand is permitted to jump from moment to moment, and it does so with the precision of a military march. It's just for tourists, of course, grumbles a bleary-eyed apprentice. Albion's time is really based on the old tick-tock man's pocket watch. He keeps it straight, except the time on his 90th birthday, when he had one too many and the whole of Albion lost 2 hours. Okay. Examine the clocks. They all have the names of ports within Albion and Reach. Lustrum, Brabazon, Port Prosper. Despite the vast distances involved in the complicating effects of local hour usage, all the clocks show the same time. Each of London's territories is expected to run on Albion Standard Time, but London is a long way from them. Despite being a commandment from the Empress's own lips, it is a law more often breached than observed. Sure. Let's ask about the nature of hours. Their use remains poorly understood. The chief horologist doesn't bother to hide the weariness in his voice. No, despite the imaginative claims of certain penny dreadfuls, hours can't take you back to yesterday, nor leapfrog tomorrow. But with the use of hour looms, a week's journey can be made to take a day, or a prisoner can endure the 10 years of his sentence while only 1 year passes outside his cell. A work world can perform a month's labor in a week. A lifespan can be stretched. The empire principle runs on hours. That makes a little more sense to me right now, but still not that much. Speak to the chief horologist. He sits hunched in a thick grey blanket, his crow-like stare fixed on a disassembled clock. Its gears are almost too small for the eye to see. Times change, I have heard. Well, not if I have any say in it. He reaches for a pair of tweezers, the pincers barely thicker than a human hair. The time in London must be time in Brabazon, in Waterbury, in Winchester, in Lustrum, to the second. It is the privilege and duty of this office to ensure that continuity. He sniffs, a task that was considerably easier before we began spending hours like shillings and sixpences. Now it might be yesterday in one place and next week in another. It is most untidy. Okay then. Inquire about employment. Not just anyone can become a royal horologist. The chief horologist looks surprised at your inquiry. Horologists tend to be cut from a specific cloth, a rather grayer fabric than that worn by a skyfarer. However, you have the right to take the examination if you wish. He blows the dust of a textbook and bids you sit down. No calculation devices or writing implements are permitted. Okay. The chief horologist peers over the book. If the current time in Perdurance is exactly 17:15 of the clock, and the time in Albion is 18:34, what, pray tell, is the current time in Lustrum? Hurry up. I have no way to know that. 17:15 in Perdurance, which I expect is in Albion. Well, no, because then it's the time in Albion. Is Perdurance a whole region? The regions we know of are the Reach, Albion, Eleutheria, the Blue Kingdom. Where is Perdurance? Also, Lustrum is not a region, it's just a colony. Well, a port, I guess. I don't even know what Perdurance is. Well, let's see. Well, can we deduce the answer from the various answers available? There are 2 19s. There are 3 34s. So I would be tempted, without understanding what goes behind the question, to answer with that. That is your answer? Very well, we shall continue. Oh, Jesus. And now a tricky one, perhaps. The chief horologist coughs. The train from the Brabazon work world arrives at 11:30 in London. The current time shown on the master Brabazon clock is, he winces, 14:30. If the train took exactly 1 hour to make the journey, it does not, of course, I merely offer this as a hypothetical for the sake of testing what was the accurate time of its original departure from the work world. It arrives at 11:30. The current time shown on Brabazon is 14:30. It took exactly 1 hour to make the journey. What do you mean? It arrives at 11:30. I guess this is London time. The current time shown on the master Brabazon clock is 14:30. So that's a 3 hours difference. If the train took exactly 1 hour to make the journey, what was the accurate time of its original departure from the work world? Was it not just 1 hour before? Well, I guess if there is no time warping, it should be 13:30, right? He pauses for a moment before writing your answer down. You wait patiently for several minutes, but the third question doesn't seem to be coming. The chief horologist's eyes have drifted closed. A thin string of drool dribbles from his otherwise dry lips as he snores. Nudge him gently. The fellow must be pushing 100. Oh yes, excuse me. He glances at your answers. Oh dear, well, I see little point continuing with the other 248 questions. I'm afraid you simply don't have what it takes. Do not be chastened. A pause. Perhaps a little chastened. There is only one clock of Albion. All else is inaccuracy. You can retake the examination. I could write down my answer to try to figure out what the correct answers are, but that sounds lame. Okay, then let's go to the Ministry of Public Decency. A huge horseshoe-shaped building of white stones, white columns, clocks and iron gates. Inside, its walls are panelled with dark wood. Crimson carpets worn by frequent passage flood the floors. Within its cubbyhole offices, auditors toil to protect the sensibilities of Londoners here in the heathen sky. Request an appointment. Is there some way you could be of use to the Ministry? You cross the foyer and approach the secretary ensconced at a teak desk. She listens to your request with a thoughtful groan. I'd love to arrange an appointment for you with one of our auditors, obviously, but my hands are tied. Bureaucracy, you understand. She rolls her eyes, looks around conspiratorially. Where's the stress? Conspiratorially. Don't have a pronunciation here. Jesus, it takes so much time.
Conspiratorially.
Spi and to are elongated. Conspiratorially. No, con is elongated, the stress is on spi. Conspiratorially. Okay. I don't think I'm gonna remember that one. Best thing for someone like yourself to do is to gather reports on nearby ports. I'm sure the information office would love to hear them. Then I could pop your name in this little book and up you go. Okay. Trade gratitude to reduce your unwanted attention. Ah. We could... Yeah, perhaps that would be good. I would expect us to need that at some point. Ministry stamped permits, we can get that in the breach already. Cryptic benefactor. A royal dispensation. For 16, Jesus. Reduce on notoriety. With a royal dispensation. Jesus. Okay, back on our way to the sun. Ah. Jeez. What a mess of a place this is. London falters here. The sky becomes stony, its paths barred by sudden crags. It's got nothing to report. Well, another shame. What's that? North-northwest. That would be in this direction, I guess. It's a ministry thing again. Ministry monitor. Pretty stylish. Something grave here. And a station there. Could very well be the sun. We can't say that, however. It looks like a graveyard, but it's not a graveyard. What is that place? Damn. A radiance in your windows. The bleached bone light of the clockwork sun. That's quite the visual effect. That's a saying again, I would expect. Yeah. These aren't as fragile as they look. Incautious driver passes on a life lesson. There's something grey there, and we are getting close to a horror. Jesus. Let's go all the way around to the horror. I guess that's it, right? The sun blazes gold in your windows. I don't know whether we can go in the middle of that. What a horrible region. Jeez. The repentant devil considers the glass statues. His expression is inscrutable. The incautious driver looks... No, I'm not going to read that. I want to focus on what I can see here. The clockwork sun. Sun's fur.